now that my sphere has been perfected and I went around and got rid of all of like the deep grooves and tried to make it as neat as possible, I can now start making it look like a pumpkin. So what I'm going to do first is I want it to sit pretty flat on the table so that it doesn't roll away. I'm just going to give it a gentle tap so that it's not going to rock one way or the other. And then I've grabbed a wooden modeling tool, and what I'm going to do is just use that edge. Anything that has like an edge of the thickness that you want, you can just push in there and start drawing those lines for the pumpkin right on there. I like to go one across from the other, and then quarter it. Maybe add some more. If you get this little ridge where it looks like a burr, you can kind of just take your finger and wipe that off. You can also just dampen a fingertip to knock things like that back. Always make sure that your tools stay clean as you're working with them, and then you won't have anything depositing itself in a spot that you don't really want. Because this is leather hard, it can take a little bit of the dampness of the water. I wouldn't do this step necessarily if it's a lot plastic yet. And then I'm going to take, pumpkins tend to go in, so I'm going to just force it a little bit with my finger to make it look a little bit more realistic. That's where I'm going to place my stem. So then I roll the coil. You can kind of mold and manipulate what you want your stem to look like. I'm going to make mine kind of organic. I have like this little blob. I'm just going to take and fluidly stretch that out as I squeeze. I'm going to get it to go to a point. I want mine to look like it just came off of the vine. Keep those hands clean. I also have a tool here where I'm going to add a little bit of pumpkin texture, or pumpkin little texture to it. Roughen it up to make it look a little bit more realistic. I'm using a scoring tool, but anything that makes a scratching surface, make it look a little bit more realistic. Don't forget you have to score and slip, so I'm going to add some score marks there and right here. I'm going to add a little bit of slip in this area and place my little stem in place, and then I'm going to slowly, since it's in plastic, I'm going to take and loop it over a little bit. And there I have a pumpkin pinch pot. At this point, I could go in and applique a face, score and slip a face on. I could let it get nice and leather hard, and just like I'm carving a pumpkin, I could use an X-Acto blade to pierce out. I could cut the lid off so it could be a lantern, or simply just keep it plain like a normal pumpkin, where you could change a couple seasons for fall and have that out. So here is pumpkin pinch pot, double pinch pot. One great thing I always expect my students to do is use that Maker's Mark stamp and sign your work. I'm gonna just rock that along the bottom of it. Got my stamp. If you keep it hollow so that it doesn't have any trapped air inside, a subtle little hole somewhere, just so that air can escape. Obviously you wouldn't have to do that if you were opening it up to be a lantern or a jar.